Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode, another day of Cowardly Dog Howloween. And today we're going to take a look. We're going to talk about human Habitrail, Missing to the Sun, Courage to Fly, and finally, Katz Kandy. So, human Habitrail is an episode that kind of is about. It's kind of a weird episode. So, this hamster, or gerbil, I guess they call it, comes to the house after Muriel keeps sweeping the floor, which causes a bunch of dust. So, Eustace, obviously, is eating soup, which has a bunch of dust all over it. So, this gerbil comes in and he tells them that he can give a vacuum. So he shows how it works, and eventually sucks up Muriel and Eustace. He tells Katz, "You're free now, free," and he takes Eustace with him to his laboratory. So Courage follows them, and he gets on a ride, and he follows them into this hole, and there's three, exits. So, by the way, he has another human in the vacuum, and she tells them, this house is your lint. This house is mine. You don't touch my lint. You follow these rules, and we won't have any problems." So he takes them to his laboratory, and he experiments on the gal that thinks the lint is all hers. So she goes, "That's my lint. It's mine." So he makes her have plungers on her hands and feet. Anyway, so Courage goes in, and the gallows scene again is he says, "They're doing horrible, terrible things to those people down there. They're not getting my lint." So he goes on this ride, and this is probably the worst song of the entire series, besides King Ramsay's Curses song. And it's played throughout the whole ride. So, while this is happening, he decides to start, when the gerbil decides to start experimenting, from using deodorant to using lipstick. I think he uses all kinds of stuff. And when Courage gets in there, he sucks back up in his vacuum. However, Dr. Gerbil is not going to give up without a fight. So he decides, how he does that is that he goes to an event using aerosol. So Eustace and Muriel, get sucked up again, and he follows him out, and Courage decides to spill a bunch of bubble bath into water, and Gerbil, follows him, and eventually Courage finally gets rid of him by making him fall off a waterfall. He takes him back, and and the singing gal from before is seen again as he says, "You touched my lint, it's mine." Alright, so the next episode is Missing to the Sun. This is probably one of the weirdest episodes of season 2, because in this episode they get a time share. In the time share, how to get it is they have to fix the sun. I'm not kidding. They have to fix the sun. So they get on a spaceship, but we don't know this until a few minutes later. They get on the spaceship, and they're all asleep, and then the computer says, "It's time to wake up, you twits." So they so he Eustace decides that he wants to see what's on TV, but he can't find anything. And then this general, it's you'll see a lot of him in the later episodes, tells them all about what they need to do. And it's how weird he says it. Kerplam! And Godspeed. And so, Computer tells him, if you don't fix the sun, it'll go bright red, and then it'll fizzle out. So, they go around the business, and there's this little, I guess he's some kind of germ or something, but he eventually gets a hold of Muriel. While this is happening, though, Kurtz is trying to figure out what to do. So he says, no, push him, then enter. And Kurt says, he smacks him in the face with a pie. He goes, that gets him every time. And eventually, this little thing, I don't remember his name, but he draws a hole in the back of Muriel, and she thinks Eustace did it. Oh, you. And so, we get back to Curtis, and he goes, now, and then the creator says, now tap on twice on the icon that looks like a little doggy. He goes, and he's twice as bad as him. He says, you are gullible. So they get ready to eat lunch, and it's space food. It's food in a tube. And that little germ, whatever, decides to take over Muriel's brain. And he goes, birds! Elephants! And she starts going crazy. Her hair streaks, and then it becomes a long beard. And then she gets a big tuft of hair. Eventually, she decides to go take a nap. Excuse me, by the way. So Courage goes to see the computer, and tells him, well, she's been acting strange. He's like, of course he's acting strange. She's in a tin can with you, isn't she? He pays her the water bottle. So, eventually the computer tells her, okay, I can tell you how to save the sun and Muriel at the same time. So he decides, before he can even tell him, Muriel bits out the controls to it. By the way, the thing finally gets a hold of Muriel. By the way, Eustace loses his hat in the space toilet. And he eventually, gets it. Goes, stupid space! Anyway, the little creature tells him what he plans on doing and what his name is, and he decides, he says, so what if the sun wants to fizzle out? Let it! Eventually you get into a fight, and Curtis, takes a plunger, puts it in Muriel's ear to try to get out. He's like, I can't believe it. He's like, pull on it, and he gets in the same toilet, and he gets sucked out. Now, before land on the sun, and it's about to fizzle out. And I bet you're wondering what's wrong with the sun. Why is it fizzling out? It needs a new light bulb. And when they land, obviously, the spaceship starts melting. And Kurt unscrews the light bulb, and the old light bulb puts the new one in. And Vera says, now how are we going to get home? And they see Eustace riding a meteor. And the episode, and eventually he goes, did you fix the sun? Mm-hmm. Good boy. And eventually they get to the Mars where their time series. And Eustace is controlled by the same character. He goes, I have not begun to fight. Alright, next episode is Courage to Fly. So, Courage to Fly is an episode. Mustafa, that's his name. Anyway, so, all bacteria. So, anyway, this is one of the. Another episode with the same guy we seen in Hothead. And I think we see it. Oh, yeah, Courage Meets the Mummy. In this episode, he basically has some kind of liquid that would turn anyone into anything he wants. It's supposed to turn him into buffaloes, but the first time he tries out courage, he turns him into a fly. During this, he also pulls a satellite out of orbit with a magnet. By the way, this episode has Courage go through different transformations. It goes from being some kind of weird looking thing to having muscles to being a beaver, and it turns the thing into what is the dynamite. He's like, I don't know, that's not supposed to be it. I fix. And he turns it into a fly. He's like, fly? That's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be buffalo. Not fly, buffalo. So we get information about the satellite and from these two characters. And this is the same general, kind of. Yeah, it's the same general that we see in Mission to the Sun. And he's having a fight with his corporal. And he's like, are those socks? Argyle, sir. So eventually, he's like, where is this satellite landing? It'll nowhere, sir. No one lives there. Of course, Mario Eustace and Courage all there. So the episode is basically Eustace trying to get Courage, who is a fly, and he does all kinds of things. Like, there's a point where he uses a fly swatter, which, by the way, says dill on it. I'm going to tell you guys a little, I'm going to do a video of that later on in this series. And he smacks Muriel. He says, why did you put your head there? The second time he tries something, I think it's fly paper. Yeah, it's fly paper. And he takes it, rips Muriel's face off. And he tells him, you put my face back on, there'll be cold cuts for dinner. And then the third time, it's bug spray. So eventually, he tries to tell them it's him by some pictures and a sculpture of him made of cow pie. Yeah. Anyway, so he Eustace finally gets a hold of Courage, and he zaps him with one of those lights, one of his bag zappers. And he just gets in his suit, which has a little hole in it. After he uses trying to stop him, so eventually, Cody's going back to outside and overhears the two guys talk about that the only way that the satellite can be stopped is if someone was small and had wings and could learn how to redirect its path. So Curtis goes back outside, tries to redirect the path of the satellite, but can't. So he goes back out and tries to get Muriel to come with him, but eventually he goes back out into the satellite and redirects it to the path of the two army men. And it digs, and the satellite digs down. And of course, the guy from before comes back and he turns them both into, I changed you. And he turns them both into buffalo. And so, Eustace is still worried about it, and Muriel finally figures out that the small fly is actually Courage. And Eustace is like, where's my fly swatter? Why are you so worried about a fly? That satellite almost hit us. And it finally comes back up and hits Eustace. He goes, stupid fly, dog fly. And Muriel asks him, will he ever come down? I don't think so. And Chris goes, I don't think so, you fool. Alright, the last episode is Katz Kandy. Now, Katz Kandy is probably one of the other times that Katz is seen twice in the season. So in this episode, Katz wants to win the Nowhere 43 Nowhere Sweet competition. And in order to do so, he has to take Muriel out of the picture and find out what her secret recipe is. So, Muriel is making her world famous caramel apples. But Katz has sent out this monster who is made out of jam. So, this jam monster comes in, knocks on the door, and Muriel's like, "Can you go get the door cards? I need to clean up." So he does, and he slams the door on that monster. He's like, "Now, why is he going to do that for? They're not very nice to do a new door." And that monster comes through and he says, "See, you made it angry." And Curtis tries to beat the jam monster with a beater. That doesn't work. So it catches both of them and takes them to Katz Kandy. By the way, Eustace, during this episode, is seen at a beach, with a stinking wave comes in and washes away his castle. So when he comes by, he hears a bunch of noise. He's like, "That better be dinner being made." And so when they finally get captured and taken away, he decides to go ahead and follow them, following the trail of jam. He starts licking it. So Katz, they arrive at Katz Kandy. Like, "Welcome to Katz Kandy. I'm Katz." And during all this, Eustace is licking up this whole bunch of jam. And he goes past the cow pasture to a nuclear reactor, which makes you wonder, how in the world did he not get mutated or die from eating that stuff near the toxic waste? Anyway, Katz tells Muriel that he don't he'll tell him what the secret ingredient to her candy, he will put her in a taffy pool. So, Izzy survives, and Courage knocks Katz down after eating the stuff that's eating him tied up. Knocks Katz down the stairs. And Eustace is seen at the counter with the gem monster. Anyway, Katz decides to have a staring contest. And he's like, would you like to play a game before you die? So they start staring at each other. By the way, Eustace does get rid of the monster by throwing off his mask. Booga, booga, booga! And so he eventually, we go back to Courage doing the staring contest. And he goes, stupid dog! And Courage loses the battle. And he gets thrown into the candy maker machine. It turns into, I guess you could call them Juju's. Anyway, Katz decides to go ahead and threaten her husband. And he tells her, if you don't tell me your husband is Taffy, and Courage finally pulls the lever and puts Katz into the vat of Taffy. And Yo-Yo finally reveals the secret. It's vinegar that she puts in the candy caramel apples. So the episode ends with her winning the first prize. By the way, reason why Katz wants it, because he always gets second. So he gets second again. And he goes, sad, isn't it? And that ends the episode. Alright, tomorrow we're going to be talking about No More TV, Muriel the Magnificent, Bad Hair Day, and Forbidden Hat of Gold. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys on the next video.